Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. It's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Hey, welcome back. And this week we got a new background here. We don't have like a green screen or anything. These are real things.
We got tactile
welding helmet?
Well, no, I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
You can touch it.
Oh, you can touch it.
You can touch it. That's what, yeah.
Okay. Talking about those.
No. Tactile is just a word for saying.
Tactical. It's tactical.
No, tactile.
You're saying tactile, not tactical.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, good start today. we got three things to talk about today. We don't want to get through two of them. First thing, and this happened, Corey's on vacation last Friday, so of course we get good questions. Now, first one's on regulator flow meter combos, and that's one of Corey's kind of favorite subjects here. And we had, it's really not questions, there was some issues with things. So
Oh, man,
why don't
look
you,
at that.
That's a big guy, isn't it?
Oh,
okay,
man.
so why don't you start off talking about the...
So on our website, we have we do have a series of 81 regular
81-7.
81 series regulators, flow meters, yes, that you can buy on here. And I'm curious how, I actually don't know how many we sell or not, because I think this is an great, because I could get calls all the time from customers asking how I can control my flow with my regulator. And you can't, so this is the best thing to do it. You do the pressure here, you do the flow here, bada bing, bada boom, you get everything you want out of the flow. So these are really good ideas and concepts. And so this is the standard one we have, but we also get questions about making up our own with any other regulator and any other flow meter. And that's where you get into a little bit of the problems, make sure that the regulator can work with the flow meter. Will you even get the flow you want out of the regulator to reach whatever flow you want, and all these different questions that need to be answered. This is one that we just were made. This is our LPHF regulator, our Laser Pro High Flow.
Yep.
Is what it stands for. And it's a very high flow regulator, even has half-inch in and out. It is also a dual stage, and...
Well, it's not really a dual stage.
This one?
It acts like a dual stage.
It acts like, okay.
It's a dome assist regulator that keeps the flow curve stable.
Yeah, I mean it's flat. The flow curve for this guy is great.
Yeah,
it's flat.
a flat flow curve.
And that's one of the important things about the flow meters is valve on the inlet, especially valve on the outlet, would change things. So typically you want valve on the inlet for these types of things. But if the pressure changes in a single stage regulator, you'll get creep at the end of the.
No. I mean, I'm sorry.
You get what's the word?
He's thinking the wrong term here. The reason why you want to use a dual stage regulator is you want to have consistent pressure going on the inlet of the flow meter. Because if you let's say you set your pressure at 100 psi, that's a little too high, going into here, and then the pressure drops. Well, the float's going to drop too, because it's the pressure differential that
the pressure differential drives it.
So that's why we use a dual stage regulator, so we have stable delivery pressure.
Now, the one downside of that is the flow rates of dual stage regulators are a little bit lower than single stage regulators.
That's why we have this.
This one, yes.
Yeah, originally the customer specified a dual stage regulator. And the dual stage regulator typical flow was, I think, 7 CFM, and they needed like 12 CFM. It's like, that's not gonna work.
But the one downside of this regulator is it only comes in brass.
Yep.
So that is where. So could you put a rotometer on the end of a single stage? You could, but you'd have to monitor whenever the pressure starts dropping in the cylinder, it makes it difficult. So that, you have to monitor it a little bit better. But yeah.
Yeah, when you have a flow meter, a regulator flow meter combo, once you put the flow meter on there, it really becomes a flow regulator.
Yes.
Because the flow that you get is going to be determined by the back pressure you have here. So if you, so typically it's going to go to atmospheric pressure, but it's really going to be whatever pressure you're going to see on the outlet.
So you might be putting this into a process that has
if you put it in a process,
like
right.
5 psi-G, something possible. I don't know. I'm just throwing out
it could
pressures.
Be. So it really doesn't. We typically would sell a regulator with a 50 psi delivery pressure, because then you set it for mid-range, 20 psi or something like that, and then the outlet will be whatever it is to your instrument. It's not going to be 20 psi. It's going to be 0 psi. Atmospheric psi might be a few inches of water column, something like that. So the pressure part of it doesn't matter because the pressure is going to be 20 psi coming on the inlet of the valve, and the outlet's going to be 0 psi.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. Oh, you crank this up, and you're going to have to change the valve for that to get the flow that you want. So people get a little confused on that. But once you put a flow meter on a regulator, then it's really a flow regulator.
Yeah. It's no longer a...
And the outlet pressure is determined by your process.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And so, so we have just, go on, check out our online store.
We sell these in the online store. And this is like I said, this is a custom-made one. We can do
we do
all sorts of custom ones.
Yeah, we do 3810A custom ones, 3120As, which is our dual stage flagship, I should say, bronze and stainless steel regulators.
Okay, so that's kind of it. Next thing we're going to talk about is valves. We had an issue with a customer having problems opening or with the cylinder valves. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to bring we got the close-up camera this week, so we're going to do that in a little bit. These guys? Yeah, we're going to bring out cylinder regulators. We don't need a close-up yet. So I was going to talk about all sorts of different valves. First, we're going to talk about cylinder valves. So when you really should have, before you open your cylinder valve, you should have something attached to it, regulator or valve or something like that. And it's just going to you're not going to don't just crack it open and go, oh, okay, there's gas in there.
Well, lost all the product.
Oops, it's all gone. You gave me an empty cylinder.
It's not even, and now it's contaminated with air.
I know. These are empty cylinders here. We're not going to bring in loaded gas cylinders in here. But
so ignore the warning.
A lot of times they'll tell you, I'm going to be able to read it here because of the angle, but it tells you open, close, which way you turn it. But it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Typically.
To open it. So when you open it, you don't open it, you're gentle with it, but you open it and you'll feel, hey, it stops. Well, back it off a little bit. So you take it all the way open and then back it off. The reason why you do that is when you come to close it, you might, if you come back, you can't tell if that's open or closed.
No.
Right?
No.
So you might say, oh, it's closed, I'm going to open it. And then if it was already open and then you tried to open it, it's like, oh, it's hard, and I'm going to, and then now you jammed it open, and then you won't be able to shut it. So, yeah, there we go. So you just open it all the way and then back it off a little bit. So then when you come back to it, you can
still open it.
You still open it.
Yeah, it'll seize it essentially.
If you happen to go in the wrong direction, then you go, oops, okay, it is already open. And the flow isn't going to matter that much between just when you back it off a little bit. So this is, these are two. This is a smaller valve, and that's more like a big cylinder valve type deal on that. We don't need a close-up on that.
Oh, I thought you were.
So that's what we got there. Then other valves you can deal with. For us, we use a lot of diaphragm valves. I'll kind of show it in there. So this is a diaphragm valve. I took it from our well-curated library.
You should have had a graphic of a diaphragm valve and how it works, because I don't know.
So this is like they call it a full turn valve, but it's like 3/4 of a turn to open. So here, you open it, and then you back it off a little bit. And then when you need to close it again, if you go, oops, okay, and then so it's, and then you close it.
Yeah, I get a decent amount of calls about valves that are like, this valve won't open. And it turns out it is open. It's stuck on open.
Yeah. So, this is a needle valve, and the needle valve will have packing on there, and it's a stem that goes down and it helps control. This is a shut-off valve, and this will help control the flow. And this is more turns to open, so that's going to help you regulate your flow. So same thing. You take it, and you can actually see the stem kind of go up on this. little bit. Boy, that's got a lot of turns on that one.
Man,
So
tie your
yeah,
arm
so
out.
that's open.
And
Like
you need to
said,
back that.
back
you need
it
to
off a little bit. And here you can kind of see the step. But then again, how do you, you're
how do
going to
you tell?
remember that's how you, if that's open or not versus.
That's why. I mean, we're gonna get to them, but my favorite valve of all time.
It's see, so that's closed. So you got less of a stem there. But you're going to have to really understand what the difference is on there. Yeah, and then we're going to go and we're going to go to these are. This is a cross purge, and I actually
Quarter turn valves. These ones you can tell if they're open or closed.
Yes, you can. Kind of if you know what.
No, if you know what it is.
But they have, and these they're quarter turns, but they're real. Maybe not exactly quarter turns. A little plus or minus on there.
23% turn.
But what they have is they got a stop. So when it's open, it hits a stop, and then it'll be in the direction of flow. Sometimes it's in the opposite direction of flow.
But it'll always be with the flow.
Because you don't want to have the handle run into thing. You have a tight installation. You don't want the valve sometimes it's a gas cabinet, and you don't want, if this is the outside valve, you don't want this hitting the wall of the cabinet. So we might switch it around. But anyways, that's the direction of flow.
These are quarter turn diaphragm valves, correct?
Quarter turn diaphragm valve, that's correct. So you turn it, and then that's closed there. So that's kind of nice with the quarter turns.
Yeah.
Is that.
And you don't have to back them off.
And it is possible to jam them.
Yeah, but
but you got to really work at it to jam it.
You got to be really dedicated to jam.
Yeah, you got to be really dedicated to jam these things here. So, yeah, so that's a cross purge. Yeah, and you can get the cross purge on our online store. You can get this on the inlet of a pressure regulator.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you get that handle on a pressure regulator? Like instead of our.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we have customers that want a quarter turn valve for whatever reason.
On the outlet of the
on the outlet. Yeah, that would be do that as a modified regulator -S. So we could say, hey, well, I want a quarter turn valve on the outlet.
And you can pick whatever color you want.
Oh, now you're making it really complicated.
Want a gold handle?
They're typically, I think they're silver handles.
They are typically silver handles.
Well, for cross purge, we do the colors.
Oh, no,
then you
no,
can say,
but
close the red valve and open the green valve and stuff like that. So it helps for identification of the process. And what is the ball valve your favorite valve?
No, just quarter turn.
Oh, you like the quarter turn?
I just like the quarter turns. Just simple.
Okay. Yeah. And this is we got this out of Rogers area, so you can't do some stuff today. No, I'll have it back. This is a quarter turn ball valve.
Right off a cylinder.
Quarter turn ball valve. It's a nice handle. It has an arrow.
It does.
Tells you that. So it's got high flow, and it's a ball. It's got a hole drilled through it.
That's
why it's a ball valve.
You turn it. The hole isn't with it.
And there's
now the hole aligns with the rest of it.
Yeah.
You turn it the other way. The hole gets blocked.
Oh, you kind of look there to it. Probably won't get that on the camera. But yeah, so they have stops both to open and close it. Yeah. So these are.
Yeah.
These will work too. Yeah, you don't have to back them off.
Foolproof.
Like that. Foolproof. You can still bust the handle.
Yeah.
You try real hard. So that's it. Yeah, so that's kind of valves opening and closing. I said
it seems
off
easy, but there is it seems like it should be more intuitive. But
but we get a lot of questions.
We get a lot of questions on this
obviously,
stuff. Yeah.
There's issues on it. Yeah, and these will say open close on there. They open close.
Hopefully they put the stickers on right every time.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, that's all the questions we're going to cover this week. So tune in again next. Next week is going to be our 40th live show.
Wow, over the hill.
Yeah. Okay. So tune in again next week at 10 a.m. for another great episode of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.